Hey, it's TDA, and today I'm really excited to show you the demo of Shapez 2 that is actually going live today as well. Now, this is a preview of a new edition of a game that has gotten very solid reviews, but this version of the game takes things to a whole new level. Now, thanks to the developers, I was able to play the demo early, and I'm pretty sure many of you will enjoy this game as well. Let me show you why. Okay, here we are in the game, and honestly, if you have played the first edition of this game, you will see this is going to be a massive visual upgrade compared to the previous game, which was a little simplistic, I think, and might not appeal to everyone. But this looks really good, and it's actually really enjoyable to play once you start to see your factory moving. Now, how does the factory actually work? The game is called Shapez for a very good reason, because we're going to be combining shapes like squares and circles, and we're going to cut them up, recombine them, twist them, turn them, stamp them. We're going to do a lot of things to those shapes in order to make new shapes. And so unlike other factory games where you might be combining iron and copper into something else, here we're doing the same thing with shapes. So it's the same principle, but with a twist, and kind of refreshing because it allows you to think about stuff in a bit of a different way. Now, as you can see initially, the game is asking us to make circles. So that's not going to be very complicated. And by doing that, we're going to be unlocking new technologies. And as you can see, there is quite a bit of technologies in here. I'm not super thrilled by the way it's showing the technology tree. But honestly, you just go from the left to the right, so it kind of speaks for itself. And things get more and more complicated as we go. Okay, so how do we actually get our circles going? Well, you can build extractors. That's a concept we should all be familiar with, like this. And then from these nodes, we're going to be producing circles. And of course, we also have belts. And what I really like about this game is how intuitive the game is about building your belts. So you can just drag this like I'm doing right now. It will intuitively know that I'm trying to link up these extractors to this belt and have automatic inserters like this. And there's also this really fun stuff where we can actually shoot things across the map to other parts of the belt. So you can avoid some spaghetti by using this. Look, it jumped. Now, of course, we need to actually complete this belt to make sure both of these things are going to be able to reach the vortex. As you can see, this one will jump right in there. And as soon as the items reach the end of the belt, they're going to go into the vortex. Look at that swirling motion. It's so satisfying. And that's it. We need 10 of those, and then we have our first goal completed. It's very simple for the moment, but trust me, it's not going to stay simple for very long. Now, something to note, by the way, is that just by clicking on any item, like I've done over here, you can see the speed, you can make your calculations very easily. You don't have to guess how fast things are going or anything like that. Same thing holds, for example, for the extractors. You can see, okay, an extractor is going to produce 30 per minute. If I look at my belts, oh, there's going to be able to transport 60 per minute. So look, 2 of these extractors actually combine into a single belt. No guessing work related, you can actually see what's happening. And you can also see that this belt is completely saturated. So yeah, this is a very easy way to tell whether or not your factory is optimized. Now, something else worth noting that I want to get out of the way right away. There's no building costs involved in this game whatsoever. As you can see, I can build as many of these things. There's no counter to see how many I can build or anything like that. I can delete stuff if I want to. I can rebuild stuff if I want to. This game is not about optimizing your production lines, waiting for money or anything like that. Nope. This is just about building a awesome factory, and the challenge is in actually making the shapes, not in trying to farm as much materials as you can. Although there will definitely be a little bit about that, because we do need to be efficient about stuff, because of course the amount of things that we need will ramp up really quickly. Okie dokie, now as you can see, the vortex is currently lighting up green, which means that we are supplying the correct item for our quest, but we already completed that, so let's check it out. And look, we get our first new machine. This is going to cut our shapes in half, so we're getting a new shape. And of course, the next item is going to be using that, because as you can see, now the vortex suddenly turned red. Yeah, those circles are no longer going to cut it. We can delete them or we can just leave them, but we're going to need to deliver this shape. Now, if I start producing a couple of squares over here, That's awesome, but that's not the shape we need. So let's see if we can combine them. Actually, let's take out these. We want a cutter. Now let's see, a cutter is going to cut items at a speed of 20 per minute. So actually, we need 3 cutters for every 2 of these extractors like this. So what we can do is we can combine these belts and so, like so, and then recombine them like that. Combine them like this, combine them like this. Look how intuitive all of this is. Now, as you can see, as soon as a shape reaches this machine, it's cut in half, and now we actually have the shape we need. Now, actually, the rotation of the shape doesn't matter, so you could have the wrong half, like this half instead of the right half instead of the left half. That doesn't actually matter, so you don't have to worry about that. As long as the shape, after you rotate it, it has the correct angle, the correct shape. I'm gonna use the word shape way too many times in this episode. It will work, as we will see in a moment. Another nice feature that is the signal over here that you can see. This actually tells you what type of shape will be coming out of this belt. So you don't have to guess if you're connecting larger parts of your facility up, what is going to come out there. And you can also see, like, look, this is the correct shape. Even though we have the wrong half, it's still counting towards our progress. And now we get, again, a new machine. And this is going to allow us to rotate our shapes. Now, you might wonder, why do we need to rotate if you just say that the rotation doesn't matter? Well, that's true, but if we're going to combine shapes, then we will definitely need to rotate them. Now, as you can see, now we need to cut a circle in half, and then we need to cut it in half again in order to get this tiny little shape over here. But we're also going to need the other half, basically, in order to unlock the cutting speed. So there's different progress goals that we have now. You can focus on one or both, or that's completely up to you, but you know what to do just by looking at your goals. That also means that we don't need this part of the factory. So let me see, I can just press shift and select this entire area and delete all the circle stuff that I had going. Now, similarly to what we've done over here, I am going to put a couple of these cutters in here. We do need to make sure we rotate them like so, like so. Let's put in a belt once again like this. Now we can actually take this belt all the way through. This is going to cut all the circles in half, so we will be able to get the cutting speed up and running a little bit quicker. Then we have these things being cut. Then we need to rotate these because we will need to be cutting them again. Now, as you can see, we can now see that we will get the bottom half of a circle. Then if we cut them again, like so, we should be able to get a tiny fraction of our circle. Now, still no rocket science over here, but as you can see, we already had to go through 2 different types of motions in order to actually get the shape we need. Now, just checking. This is 20 per minute, this is 20 per minute, so we still have, the rotation is actually 30 per minute, so there's no bottleneck here as well. So we still have our production line completely optimized, and we're not wasting any throughput. Does that matter? Maybe not, but you know me, I like being efficient. Now we are already working quite well towards our cutting speed, and we'll soon have our second floor able to be unlocked as well. So we now have the cutting speed unlocked. Let's double check again what the speed of our cutters are now. So the cutters are now actually working at 30 per minute. The rotation is as well, and this one is as well. So I think I could actually remove all of this now. And remove this as well. And we should still be able to completely satisfy the throughput. Let's just double check. 60 per minute, 60 per minute. Yeah, seems to be working just fine. So, working like intended, and we are very close to getting the second floor. Now, the second floor is, of course, verticality, so we can move belts on top of each other. Let's see about this. And yeah, we can now really start working on our spaghetti. Now, I just realized that these belts are not particularly fast. So let's see, if we use a launcher like this, and like this. So that actually, I think that actually speeds things up quite a bit. Well, assuming, of course, there's no bottleneck in the belt, but you get my drift. This is actually a lot faster than just having this manually move like this. Is this Yeah, there's no delay in here as well, so this is just an optimal way to transport things a little bit faster than what we were doing before. Speaking about faster belts, we need 160 just straight up squares in order to get access to that. So let's just unlock these, unlock this, and then can I copy shift? How do I copy whatever belt I could build? There's probably a shortcut for that the tutorial told me, but since I disabled it to not have things pop up all the time, I completely forgot, but there we go. This should, in a little while from now, get all our squares and belt speed done. Now, for the stacker, we need to do an exact same thing with double cutting, so let's get to that. Oh, right. So there's actually a very nice hotkey overview. So if you hover over something and you press C, you can copy that and place it again. So yeah, it was actually in there as well. So double cutting, double rotating and stuff like that, and we'll get the little squares that we need in order to complete the next task. Now, for those of you that are wondering about quality of life features, once again, I really like the things that this game already in the demo is shipping with. So, for example, in a Dice program, you might be familiar with the fact that if you try to build things over each other, that doesn't actually work unless you press shift and then you can, which makes it really convenient, for example, to replace my belts with these little catapult thingies. Is that super vital to the game? No, but it's definitely a quality of life thing. Now we unlocked our stacker, which does exactly what you might think. It actually stacks shapes on top of each other, as you can see. And now there's also a little bit of a preview in here, because you can see these shapes have different colors. I don't think I'm gonna get different colors for the moment, but that's another twist that this game is going to add to make your life difficult, or at least challenge you, let's put it like that. So yeah, putting stuff on top of each other to make new shapes once again. Which brings us to the next few tasks, because as you can see, we now have 3 targets. One of them is the belt speed that we are about to complete. But now we actually need to have a circle inside a square, so we need to stamp the basic circle on top of the basic square. But we also have this one. This is going to request us to put 2 items together, namely half a circle and half a square, which means we need to cut up a circle, cut up a square, make sure the rotation is correct, and stamp them on top of each other, and then we get access to a new cutter. So that's a lot of things to consider in order to get the shape that you need. Now, what is really nice about these shapes is that you can actually have the game tell you exactly how certain shapes are organized. So that's really convenient if you're kind of wondering, like, how do I do this exactly? The belts will now become faster, so we can now transport 90 per minute. Let me double check the extractor. So yeah, so we can now actually feed 3 extractors onto a single belt and still have maximum throughput. So let's start working on a new shape. Now we can now fit 3 different extractors to a single belt and still make use of everything, so that's really convenient. And let's put it all the way up here, because we're going to need to combine circles and squares. So yeah, things will be getting a little bit more complicated. Still not too complicated, I think, but well, let's find out. Okay, so let's bring that up here as well. Now, again, it's super convenient that we can tell what's actually going to come out of these belts in terms of shapes, because, well, the longer your belts are, the longer it will actually take for stuff to get there. So, by the way, I also just deleted everything by shift right-clicking an entire area. Super convenient if you want to just delete your base, because you don't need the old stuff anymore. Probably not going to use that too much from now on, but for the simple reason that we are going to do more and more complicated stuff, and we might not want to lose out on that. So let's see, we now have a stacker. This is the stacker, which is an item that apparently combines 2 items, one on the top level and one on the bottom level, and then exports it on a 90-degree angle. So let's see. It's 15 per minute. The belts were 90, so we can use 6 of these stackers in order to combine both our belts. Then let's see if we do it something like, let's have it come from the top, I guess. Something like this. And then in order to maintain our symmetry, hello game. It's a little buggy. It doesn't seem to like my recording software too much, because I actually didn't have problems when I was just testing the game out before I was recording. There we go. So we can align this with this output over here. Now let's see. Let's have the square on the bottom and connect that up like this. And look at that. Everything is already connected. No fussy dealings with belts, splitters or connectors or anything like that. It just works. That's so awesome. Now, in order to bring this belt to the next level, I actually need to start dragging the belt. Press E to go up to the next level. Then it will automatically put in a little lift. And then again, I can do it like this and it will automatically connect everything up. Now let's go back down. Look at that little lift. Isn't that cute? It's like pizzas being delivered or something like that. I don't know. It's really enjoyable. Let's put it like that. Okay, then we have a belt going somewhere like this. Now I can actually center this as well. I actually forgot what the shortcut, but it was place belt anchor is C. Okay, so let's remove this belt. There we go. Do it like this. So I should be able to build a more complicated belt by doing like dragging like here, pressing C, then that puts a stop there and press C again. Look at that. Multiple corners exactly where I want them and just with the press of a button. Even Dyson Sphere could learn something from that, I believe. And definitely some other games. Satisfactory, I'm looking at you. Anyway, nice and symmetric. Thanks to the mirroring that we can do with these buildings. Again, quality of life. I'm loving it. And look at that. We now are producing another type of thing. And we press them on top of each other. Now let's make a half square, half circle. And again, I'm going to be producing some belts to get us going first. So I have a belt with squares incoming and let's take it piece by piece. So we're going to need half a square. So let's have the cutter that we had before. It is going to be able to process 30 per minute now. So again, we need 3 because we have better belts now. So like this. There we go. Then we have half a square over there. Let's do that like this. Let's do the same thing on this side. Of course, we need to rotate that. Let's put it in the exact same location so it's all nice and tidy. And then we have that. Now, we can't press these two on top of each other like this because we have the right half over here and we have the right half over there as well. For the reason that this cutting tool actually takes the west half, so it's not symmetric in terms of how this is working. If you rotate it, it's always going to be the west half. So that means we are going to have to rotate this 45 per minute now. This is 30, so that's going to be just fine. We need to rotate it once, we need to rotate it again. And now, if we press them together, that should work. So again, let's have a couple of these. A little bit close together. So I'm gonna forego the symmetry for speed this time. Let's see, we need 6 of those, like that. And then we are going to bring in the squares from the bottom again. Why not? Then we are going to bring these in like this. Then we're going to go to the next level and we're going to put them like that. Look, I'm getting the hang of these controls, I believe. And look, this is the correct shape. It's even the correct rotation. So aren't we awesome? Okay, so let's do this like this. Let's do this like this. Let's make sure we connect all of that. And then we can take a look at what our next goal is, because this should be working towards the cutter. And now we get a 90 degrees rotator. All it does is actually rotate the thing, but the other way around compared to the one that we already had. So that's interesting. Seems like our machines are going to get a little bit bigger now, because as you can see, we now actually have a splitter, or a cutter, apparently, which is actually splitting an item in half. So I would have preferred this to be called a splitter, but that's just me. Might be confusing because I guess in other factory game splitters are something completely different, but this is actually literally splitting an item in 2. So it's not deleting half, but it's actually outputting both halves of the shape itself. So that's going to allow us to be a lot more efficient, so we're not actually wasting half of our production. Let's see if we can put that to use immediately, because actually in order to unlock trash, which will allow us to destroy items, I'm not entirely sure why we need it, because we can just toss it in the vortex if we need to get rid of it. But anyway, we actually need half of the shape that we already had. So let's remove this belt for a moment. Let's put in a cutting, and then we don't need a half destroyer, we need a cutter. Okay, so the other thing was not actually called a cutter. This is going to produce at 22.5. We have 2 belts, each outputting at 45, so we need 2 per belt. So if we do it like this, we'll actually double up on the production, so this will actually put out 90 items then. So that's something to keep in mind. Like this, like this, like this. And if I'm making this look easy, it helps that I already played this demo before, so I kind of know what I'm doing. But as you can see, this is turning into an actual factory where we're recombining, splitting items, different levels. This is actually completely functional and completely optimized. And we're just making silly shapes, so I think this is a very zen game. The music is great, the fact that you don't have to worry about costs or anything like that. There's nothing getting into your way in terms of actually designing your factory. But look at the speed of stuff we're throwing in here. This is super, super fast. Now, let's look at the other shapes for a moment. What we actually need... we don't need these items any longer, so this is done. So we could remove what we have over here. Let's see, what do we actually need to make? So we need to have 3 of these blocks together, and then the block basically needs to go into a circle so that we can make this particular thing over here. Interesting. Before we get into that, look, this is the trash. it's literally the trash. I really, really love, again, what this looks like. It's super functional. It's not complicated at all in terms of what it does. But look how nice this looks. Okay, I cleared out the entire bottom factory over here. So let's see if we can optimize making these different shapes. And as you will see, this gets a lot more complicated really, really quickly. So let's see. In order to get this corner cut out, we actually need to first split the item that we already have in 2 pieces. No need to waste anything, I believe. Let's see, 22.5, so we need 4 of these. That doesn't actually fit the space I have over here. So let's move a little bit to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, that actually fits. So let's go up here, press C, and then let's do it like that. So we're getting there, at least we're partially getting there. Then in order to cut one of these again in half, we actually need to rotate that. So let's say, for example, we do it like this. And then let's bring these items a little bit further, because we also need to make sure we can actually get these items out. Yes. Then what do we need to do? We can probably make this a little bit more tight, like this. Okay. We need to cut these up again, giving us those little squares that we need in order to combine them with the rest. Let's see. First of all, let's bring these out. So how do we do that? We bring this up a level, I guess. There we go. That's not what I had in mind. Actually, working with different levels is something I need to get used to. I'm not gonna say it's annoying or anything like that. It's just something I need to get used to, I think. C in order to put down the thing. There we go. So this is all going to be combined, and I think this is actually a full belt. Now, this is actually going to be 2 full belts, if I did my math correctly. So we had a full belt. Now this is 22.5 items, so that's times 2, so it's 45. And we split them again, so yes, it's 90 items going out. Actually a full belt of items per splitter. Did I do that math correctly? 22.5 coming out, going in, so 45 coming out, 45 going in, So this is actually not going to be able to handle everything by itself. Oh wow, that's a lot of items that we're producing even from a single belt to start with. Anyway, yeah. So we have a lot of tiny little squares over here. We have this shape over here. So if we take this one, so the one in the top right, then we can stamp that together with this one, and then we should be getting at least this item that we need. How many of these do we have? That's like 20, 45. Yeah, this is actually a full belt, so this is 90. So we should be able to combine it just with a single belt from the other one, if I did my math correctly, and you're probably going to be correcting me in the comments if I have my math completely screwed up. So then we need 30, 60, 90. This is going to be outputting exactly what we need. We already have this on the first level, which I didn't do intentionally, but it's really convenient that we have that. And then if I go down a level, is this actually going to be able to completely satisfy all these machines? I still have a little bit of issues with my math here, but it's taking some getting used to. Something like this, right? Alright, you're not doing anything because you can't handle, you don't have any way to export these items. So this, I guess, is where the trash comes in. Ta-da! Look, I used the trash, Mom. Look at that tiny little trash can over here. It's really convenient, by the way, so you don't have to like export this all the way across the map or anything like that. It doesn't feel like this is transporting 45 items per minute. This is not telling me how much there's actually coming through here. Oh, okay, but this is not, yeah. This is not actually producing 45 items per minute for the simple reason that it can't actually handle that many. It is outputting 45 items per minute, don't get me wrong, but then the next item is only going to be producing 22.5. So yeah, never mind, my math was completely wrong there. And I'm sure by now there's like 500 comments telling me exactly that. So, 22, 45, 90, assuming I actually connect these belts, so this should work. And then we can trash this for the moment, so everything actually keeps working. We don't have a bottleneck. Then all we need to do is bring this to the export. And look, and you will also see now this is the wrong rotation compared to what you are looking at right here, but it will still work because it doesn't care about the rotation. It will automatically recognize that this is the correct shape. Ta-da! Look at that green vortex accepting our little items. Now, I'm going to do pretty much the exact same thing on the other side to make a circle that has the exact same kind of shape as here, but then with a circle, because then we can take the remaining squares that we're now tossing away and put those in there and get that going. So basically what I want to do is replicate this little facility over here. Now, blueprints are there for a reason, because right now, in order to replicate this, I will actually need to build it myself. I know how to do it now, that's not a problem. But once you get access to blueprints, well, let me just show you in a minute. There we go, I completely replicated what we have on the other side as well. I even tried to keep the symmetry intact. And now we have this shape over here. Now, there's no point in exporting this because we actually don't need it. We need to put in the extra square that is going to come from over here. That's right now going to the trash. So let's see, how are we going to get that out? Let's use these little catapults that we have. So we can throw them over here. Now they're in the top left corner. Right now we need them in the top right corner. If we don't want to rotate this, we can either rotate this or rotate the other thing, but we have some space over here, so let's do with that. Top right corner I said, right? Yeah. So this rotation should do the trick. Then let's see, we can put them all on a belt. We can put them to here. Then we can put a stop. We can go to the next level. Yeah, then we can put another stop. We can do something like this. There we go. We can go down again. Does this work? Look at this little corner lift, actually. So satisfying. Okay. Actually, let's remove this for the moment, because I'm not entirely sure how we want to handle this. We need a stacker, which is now actually stacking at 22.5 per minute. I think we still have a full belt, so we need 4 of them now, actually. So we no longer need 6, we only need 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's go to the top level like this. We need to go down to the other level like this. That seems to be the correct shape, I think. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Let's not forget the last little part of the belt over there. Is this working like I'm hoping it will? Well, it should, because the game is telling me it will. But I'll believe it when I see it. Yes, 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 yes. Look at that. We need all of this. All of this. Well, actually, we need all of this in order to make this one single shape. One belt of that. Super satisfying. And look at that. This is just a demo. This is just a very simplified version of the demo, actually. And you can already see the potential of the game right here. Now, let me know in the comments. Are you having as much fun as I am? Is this looking fun to you at all? Or are you like, just give me iron and copper and I'll deal with building steel factory mills and things like that? I don't know about you, but as you can tell, I am having a lot of fun right here. And a few minutes later, because it actually took a little while to get this production up and running and get enough to unlock the blueprints, look at that little swirl of things going into the vortex. Blueprints allows you to copy-paste parts of your factory. No surprise for those of you that already know how to do it, but I really like these little mini demonstrations over here that show you how this actually works. Super convenient. And will make things a lot easier. Now, there is a little trick to that, because you actually get blueprint points. So, the more shapes you deliver, and these are the shapes that actually count, so that is something to keep in mind. So, the shapes we just made, these shapes over here, are actually going to give us blueprint points. And if we want to make this shape over here, so we could actually... Is this the same shape? Yeah, this is the same shape, but then with another circle stamped on top of that, would actually get you 2 points per shape that you deliver. So it's not completely unlimited, this game. If you want to make use of the more advanced type of things, then you're going to have to pay up for that in terms of at least the blueprint points. It's just another incentive to not completely delete your factory every time and just build everything from scratch, but also to keep things intact. As you can see, we are now getting weirder and weirder shapes. So we have this kind of like rotor, I don't know, windmill type of thing that we have over here. We have, that will actually give us a swapper, so swapping the halves, interesting. We will have a cutting speed upgrade, we have a belt speed upgrade again. Now this is actually the item that we're already making, so super convenient, but we need 600 of them. So you can see that the amount of items that we need rapidly goes up. And then look at this, this is 2 squares of another square, but we also need a tiny little piece of the circle pressed on top of that. Actually, I think that might be pretty straightforward to make, because we already have like the squares part of it. So, and we also have this little corner over here. So I think at least if we stamp that on top of this, assuming we rotate everything correctly, that should be this shape. Let's try that out. Okay, so once again, we are going to bring up these belts. Let's bring these belts over here or something, just to keep myself sane, because we need them to be in a relatively close proximity to where we need to get them. Yeah, this is already... I'm just going to go with this rotation just to keep my brain intact for the moment. Let's see, so that's going to go there. Then we need to go down to the other level. We have this thing over here. Oh, no, I actually deleted part of the upper belt as well. That was not really intentional. There we go. So this is the correct shape, but it's in the wrong rotation. So we need to rotate that Counterclockwise? Is that counterclockwise? I really like the visual aids over here. We only need 2 of those apparently because we have super quick belts now and super quick rotators. And we can recombine that like this. And then we need to have some more stackers. I think these things should be called stampers. That's what they're doing, right? Stamping. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud here. Let's copy this. Let's get into the habit of doing that. There we go. Pretty much at the end of the tutorial, so not entirely sure there's much point in getting used to anything at this stage, but yeah. Like so. Why is this not aligned with this? That's because I started building at the wrong spot. I'm kind of just thinking, oh, maybe we should align it with the ones that we have up there. There we go. Okay, so this belt like this, this belt like that, and then we go down again, and then we can have a belt like so. Connect, 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 connect. Does this look correct to you? It looks correct to me. I'm not entirely sure if it is. It looks slightly different from what it seems to be doing over here, but if this is not correct, then I'm not entirely sure how this works. Oh, look, if you click on it, like I showed you before, they'll actually show you in layers. So this is really convenient if you're like, what is going on here? You can really like have the game show you how this is connected. And yes, look at that. Look at that. Space platforms coming up. And while that is working, we just unlocked the belt speed. So this is going to not only upgrade the belt speed, it's actually upgrading the rotators as well. Now, this game is really fun in the sense that it's going to actually reward you for being smart. Because if we look at this shape, this windmill shape, it's actually the same shape that's in here as well. And then the squares that are in here are actually the same shape, just with different items to begin with. And that's where the blueprints are going to come in very much use. So let's see, let's start again by deleting all of this. All right, and let's see how we can make some interesting shapes out of this. Now, specifically, we want these types of shapes. So we're going to need to cut these up like so. I think then we're going to need to rotate these, and then we can copy this and we need to cut them up again. There we go. Now we have all the little pieces that we need. Now, in order to combine these, I think what we need to do is rotate these like so. Actually, let's rotate these to the other side. There we go. That might be a little bit smarter. You'll see why in a second. There we go. Because now what we can do, we need a stacker like this, and then another stacker mirrored like that. Now the one half is going to go in here. Now what I want to do, let's see if this works. I want to make this belt go up and to the corner. Yes, that works. That's awesome. Okay, up to the corner. Yes. And then look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's exactly the shapes that we wanted. Now, that means that we now have optimized this production for a tiny portion of this production line. Because obviously we have 90 of these things coming in. We're splitting them, so we actually, and we're then recombining these halves. So 22.5, I think this is. Yeah, so we have 22.5 on each side. So we have 45 items per minute coming out over here, and we can actually handle 120 now. So we can actually add in another extractor to this belt. But for the moment, that's not really useful because we aren't actually using this just yet. But what we can do is make a blueprint out of this. So how do you make a blueprint? Well, first of all, you shift, click, select, and drag. There we go. We select one of these things, and then we press... you can actually do it manually like this. You can save this blueprint. And untitled blueprint, we're calling this the windmill. I'm sure that will make sense like a year from now when I use it again. What we can do is actually bring that to the other side. Flip it. Flip it like that. And then just see, where do I want it? I want it. Here we go. Let's delete it. Where are my blueprints? There we go. We can now use the windmill, flip it, and put it like that. Symmetry, guys. Symmetry. Remember, it's all about symmetry. And then do it like that. And look, this is the exact shape that we need for the swapper. So what we can do is at least put in half of that stuff in here. And then the other half, what we can do is we can bring that one up here. Let's keep it simple and let's just dump this stuff in here. Not that we need it, but again, just to keep it simple. Let's delete a little bit of this. Once again, let's have some stackers. That was not a stacker, this is a stacker. How much was this producing? Well, we are already exporting half, so it's just 22.5. So this is actually a single stacker for the moment. Okay, anyway, that's not discouraging at all or anything like that. Not at all, not at all. Let's put it like this. Then we have this belt where we can say, okay, you go down here. And then we have this other belt coming up here. Let's bring that up a level, like so, and connect that up here, and then go down a level again. That's actually not going to work, so hold on. We need to rotate this first. And then we can bring that up. It's a little bit creative like this, but yeah, that looks just about right for the cutting speed too. And then we can export that. Now, of course, since we now made a blueprint, what we can actually do is go to the blueprint library. This is actually only 40 points, so it's not that bad. So you're not severely limited in terms of how much your blueprints are going to cost. But we can actually double up on our speed like this. And we should have plenty of these circles and squares in order to do this. Then we can we toss these? We can also rotate these. And then what we can do is bring all of that into this belt as well. So now we have tripled the production rates over here. And then do this exact same thing over here as well. So again, let's have a little catapult over here like this. There's probably cleaner ways of doing this, obviously, but I'm having fun, so let's see. This is working like I wanted it to. Yes, it is. All right. And then we need to bring this up a level. And we need to bring this up a level and connect it. And then, of course, we are going to need 3 times as many stackers in order to handle all of this output. Stackers. These are the stackers. There we go. So 1, 2 additional ones. And there we go. And then, of course, we need to connect up these belts. And then we have... something is not going right here. Why are you saying we're going to get 2 different outputs? Because we're not. Well, we are. Wait, why are we getting... These are all identical, right? Yes. These are all... Oh, these are not identical. So something is not rotated correctly over here. This seems to be correct. But you are getting stuck. So first of all, you are... not outputting anything. And then the rotation of this one, is that different from everything else? Show me one. Show me one. Yeah, it is. So we actually need to rotate you like this. So now we should hopefully see... Well, there's a couple of the old ones, I guess, on the belt still. But we should see that everything else should be fine. Or did I actually just completely mess it up now? Oh, they're all wrong. Oh, geez. Let's put it like this. Does that help? Yeah, now it should be fine. So as you can see, it will now completely shift. Although, why are you showing me your cross? We still need these things, right? I don't know. Maybe it will shift to green once we get the correct item in there. Yeah, okay, there we go. So there's just a couple of the wrong ones still in here, but as soon as we get those out of our system, it should be fixed. Well, as you can see, this is not entirely trivial whatsoever. And we just unlocked space platforms, which is going to allow us to connect to different platforms. And as you can see, if we can zoom out completely, like very far out, there is a lot of different sources. If you thought like working with circles and squares was really simple, well, we're going to get a lot of different types of resources over here as well. I am going to leave it up to you to discover the rest of the tutorial. We already did most of the demo challenges, as you can see, so there's just a few things left. I will definitely be revisiting this game once it comes out. I really encourage you again to check out the demo. It should be live once you see this video. It's going to be up during the Steam Next Festival, so it's going to be really fun to try out a lot of different games, but you should definitely include this one among them. So guys, it's a little bit long, but I think I showed you most of the fun things about this game, and as you can see, it's an actual factory game, so if in the first 5 minutes you thought this is way too simple, it's really, really not. Anyway, if you're still here, you are awesome, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.